Mom and Dad Are Fighting is brought to you by Progressive. Are you thinking more about how to tighten up your budget these days? Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save over $700 on average, and customers can qualify for an average of 6 discounts when they sign up. A little off your rate each month goes a long way. Get a quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, national annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2020 and May 2021. Potential savings will vary. Discounts vary and are not available in all states and situations. This episode contains explicit language. Welcome to Mom and Dad Are Fighting, Slate's parenting podcast for Thursday, October 17th, the Parenting Tornadoes edition. I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. I write the homeschool and family travel blog, Dutch Goose. I'm the mom to 3 littles, Henry, who's 10, Oliver, who's 8, and Teddy, who's 6. We live in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
I'm Jamilah Lemieux, a writer, contributor to Slate's Care and Feeding Parenting column, and mom to Naima, who is 9.5, and we live in Los Angeles.
I'm Zach Rosen. I make the Best Advice Show podcast. I am the father to Noah, who's 5, and Ami, who's 2. We live in Detroit.
Well, today on the show, we've got a question from a listener who feels like she is parenting 2 tornadoes. Her kids are approaching preschool, and she's looking to take the levels of chaos in her household down a few notches. We're going to give her advice on transitioning her household rules. Then on Slate Plus, we're discussing the funny bits of childhood culture that stick around generation after generation, like typing boobs on a calculator or making the Superman S. It's from an Atlantic piece from Julie Beck, which we'll link to in the show notes. But here's what you'll hear if you have Slate Plus.
Like the cool S, which what did you call that growing up? And did you do that in school?
Yeah, we did it. I don't know what we called it. It was just the S. And there were no other letters that could be drawn in this style for whatever reason. So we just all practiced drawing block S's. The S stood for nothing for most of us.
If you want to support our show, the best way to do that is signing up for Slate Plus. You get bonus segments from us each week, as well as from your other favorite Slate shows, and you won't hear any ads. It really does help us out immensely. You can sign up for Slate Plus now at slate.com/momanddadplus. Okay, we're going to catch up on our week in parenting, but not before a quick break. See you back here in a second. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm looking forward to some colder weather, the hint of snow in the air, hot chocolate, lights, just all of the things that the winter season has to offer. Of course, though, this also means that it's time to start thinking about holiday gift giving. KiwiCo delivers super cool science, technology, and art projects for kids. They have 9 different subscription lines for different ages and categories, so there's truly something for every kid. One of the things I love is that KiwiCo has holiday-themed boxes. Last year, we built this candle spinner thing where you light the candles underneath, and it has sort of a pinwheel on top, and the heat from the candle rises and spins the pinwheel, and on the little wheel is a snowman and a Christmas tree. It was a really fun project to build with the kids. It served as a holiday decoration, and we're looking forward to getting it out again. Plus, I guess we learned a bunch about science and heat rising, all while doing this fun project together. KiwiCo boxes make wonderful gifts, and of course, the subscription line will deliver a box to your door every month. You don't have to go shopping for all of the different things to do an arts and crafts project. There's something for kids of all ages. There's, of course, no commitment, so you can pause or cancel at any time. Give awesome this holiday season with KiwiCo. Get your first month free on any crate line at kiwico.com/momanddad. That's your first month free at kiwico.com/momanddad. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Therapy Online. Unfortunately, life doesn't come with a user manual, so when it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure, whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or becoming a parent. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match you with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you could easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/MadAff. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MadAff. All right, Zach, do you have a triumph or fail for us this week?
We are just coming out of just Booger City, USA in our house. Everyone has been sick. I feel like everyone we know is sick. Maybe the kids had RSV. We didn't get them tested. Maybe it was just a cold. Shira is just getting over conjunctivitis, but last week the kids were home for a couple days from school, and all these forecasts of like it's the flu and RSV and COVID compounded, it's going to make for a heavy season of sickness. Like, indeed, it's true. We were just down and out. We're coming out of it now, and the kids, thankfully, we didn't have to take them to the hospital because these RSV units, pediatric units on the hospital are filled with kids with RSV. Like, it's no joke. We're grateful that, the kids didn't have to go to the hospital. They just were able to lay low here. We watched a lot of movies, used a ton of Kleenex, but we made it through. We're starting to feel a little bit better, and hopefully we will ward off sickness for at least 2 days, because Ami brings something home from daycare. It seems like every week.
Any good movies you guys all enjoyed, or was it plop the kids in front of the movie so that...
Yeah, no, we watched Ophira, when she was guest hosting, she suggested Paddington, and we watched that. That was great. And then we watched Peter Rabbit, which was really cute too.
Jamilah, how about you? Triumph or fail?
It's feeling a little failish, but Elizabeth will probably convince me to forgive myself. Naima is home from school today. When we got up this morning, I said, hey, come on, get up. I went and made breakfast and lunch, and she's still struggling and can't get out the bed. And she's on the couch and she's asleep and she just can't wake up. Mommy, I'm so tired. I don't feel good. And then I'm like, okay, I just give in. I'm like, get back in the bed. You can have an extra 30 minutes or just be late for school, because she was just not moving. It was just like she just couldn't, and then her throat was hurting and her head was hurting and she was warm, not fever. She didn't have a fever, but she was warm. And finally, I just gave up and said, okay, you're not feeling well. You can stay home. And she seems like she's doing great now.
Of course. What's she doing?
She's relaxing on the couch watching a TV show, but she just has not seemed unwell since those first few hours this morning. And so she felt so out of it. I mean, I wanted so badly to get her out the door. I have stuff to do today. It's parent-teacher conferences. I really wanted to, for her to be at after school when that happened, so I could just talk to, her dad and I could just talk to the teacher in person, because then basically I have to Zoom in with both of them, and I really have some things I want to talk to the teacher about. So that's kind of why it's feeling like a fail. I really, the parent-teacher conference was important. And also I had a whole plan for the day, which involved going to the parent-teacher conference and then going to the gym while Naima was in after school. And now I will not be going to the gym. And we're either going to do the conference in person and her teacher can see how not sick she is for herself, and we can both feel like assholes, or we have to do it over Zoom. Hold on. Why don't you all see for yourselves? Naima!
Yes.
Let's just check in.
Real.
Let's check in. She's been
quiet.
Let's check in.
Naima!
Hi, Naima.
Hi.
How you feeling?
I heard you're not feeling well.
I don't know.
You don't know?
You don't know?
Does your throat still hurt?
No. I just ate breakfast.
That's good that your throat's not hurting.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
We just
want to... Did you want to startle me again?
No, I didn't want to startle you again. We just wanted to see how you were doing.
Yeah, we wanted to see how you were doing. We were trying to assess if your mom made a triumph or a fail by letting you stay home today. Do you want to weigh in? Was this a good mom move or a not so good mom move?
Yes. It was a good mom move. Really.
There you have it, Jamilah. You're a good mom.
You're good. Triumph.
And that's all we're striving for most days.
Bye, Naima. Feel good.
See?
That was great.
Not a fail. You made her feel seen and loved.
That's what I'm here for.
I do think you should take her to the parent-teacher
conference. You can totally deal with this in person, and the teacher and I can have a real talk, and you can just sit there awkwardly.
Can't you sit in the hall with a book or something?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. There'll probably be other parents that have to bring their kids with them.
I would assume.
All right, Elizabeth, what about you?
So I'm taking a triumph for the week because we went on this epic trip to Churchill, Canada with my parents and my sister, and it's like a small group tour to see the polar bears. It was completely amazing.
Wow.
Our kids were the only children on the trip because it's, school is in, and who takes their kids to Churchill, Canada to sit on one of these giant rover things that can drive on the tundra, and you see the bears from there, and they're like all around you, but it's a lot of like just sitting. Well, we arrived during a blizzard, and they were like, oh, tomorrow's going to be great for bear spotting, which in fairness, it was. But we get on this tundra buggy. It's super cold there. Obviously, the bay is freezing, which is why the polar bears are there. They're all making their way to the ice to head out on the ice to do most of their hunting is done during the winter, once out on the ice, seals and that kind of thing. So you're kind of catching them on their way out. And the tundra buggy, like 10 minutes into the drive, we kind of like go down and go back up. We're like on one of those seesaw rides. Like we just keep going up and down, and we said to the naturalist and the driver, like, are we stuck? They're like, no, the roads here are really rough. We can only drive in these specific places. There's like wind blowing and all the snow had fallen, so we're clearly stuck in a drift. We just have to do this over and over again. Of course, the kids like want to see bears. We've like promised them bears, and there's all of these, mostly, I will say, 70 and over on the bus. So it could go either way. They're either like grandparent, hey, we're so excited to have these kids with us, or they're like, why am I on this bus with these children, right? Mm-hmm. We end up being stuck, like 4 hours stuck in the snowdrift. They send another buggy to come get us. That buggy gets stuck. Eventually, that buggy gets unstuck, comes to get us, gets stuck. They have to dig us out. We have to pull this other buggy to freedom. Like it was just sort of a mess. Now there's a bathroom on board and there's food, but this is a win because my kids were great. And it wasn't that they were great. It was that Jeff and I were a great team. My parents were helpful. My sister was helpful in the sense that, like, we were able to keep them focused. We had brought, like, journals to draw in and things like that. But, of course, we thought we'd be moving. And there's something about moving and having the kids look for things. And, in fact, the bears did come out, and we got this opportunity to see several mama bears with their baby, their 1-year-old babies, that wouldn't normally come out because the buggy makes so much noise. And they tend to kind of stay hidden because the dad polar bears are trying to eat the baby polar bears. It's a mess. But we got to see all this stuff, which was great. But I was so proud of us. Like, I feel like even though the kids were good, this is like a true win for us, because when we needed something or we got frustrated, like, no one was arguing with anyone. We were just able to take the kids. Teddy is obviously the hardest to deal with. And there was no like, well, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do with him or this. That was just like, okay, I'm going to take him and do this. I'm going to do this. Let's play tic-tac-toe. Let's do this drawing. Like, just keeping them entertained. We had audiobooks, of course, binoculars. Like, Jeff was spotting other things with the kids. Like, we were just able to make this a really fun experience. And that really set the stage for when we had to get back on the buggy. The next day, it was like we had almost practiced how we were going to look for bears. And so they were able to spot all of these things and point them out to other people, which was like really fun. And they were so excited about it. So I just was so pleased, because sometimes when I'm in these situations, we take the kids a lot of places that other people don't take their children. And I'm always very mindful that, like, I don't want to be ruining someone else's experience with the presence of my children. Mm-hmm. Even though my kids have, we paid the same to be there with them, all of that. But I don't want them to ruin something for someone else. And teaching them that and having them practice that felt like just such a big win. Mm-hmm. The polar bears also were, it's a completely amazing experience, and they're wonderful. And if you get a chance to go to this little remote town that has nothing, there are polar bears everywhere.
Where can we see those pictures?
So you can see them on my Instagram at EJDN.
So cool.
See lots of fun pictures of polar bears fighting and mommies and babies. And I have not downloaded the ones from the good camera. That hasn't happened yet. So hopefully that'll happen. I'll get some more up.
So cool.
That is very cool.
Oh, I just went and saw them on your Instagram. So cool. Wow. Amazing.
It was really cool. On that note, we're going to take another quick break, and we will see you back here for our listener question.
This holiday season, give a gift to your loved ones that makes them feel special and unique. Just like the relationship you share, give the gift of Storyworth. Every week, Storyworth emails your relative or friend a thought-provoking question of your choice from their vast pool of possible options. Each unique prompt asks questions you've never thought to ask, like, what's the bravest thing you've ever done in your life? Or, if you could see into the future, what would you want to find out? After 1 year, Storyworth will compile all your loved ones' stories, including photos, into a beautiful keepsake book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. Honestly, I stopped having ideas for family gifts a while ago. Like, no one needs anything. And a year or two ago, I started just giving Storyworth to everyone I know. My mom, my dad, aunts, and uncles. This is such a good gift. If you are stuck on what to do for your family this year, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a gift more meaningful than Storyworth. Honestly, it's so cool. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love most a thoughtful, personal gift from the heart and preserving their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/momanddad and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/momanddad to save $10 on your first purchase.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina is the beach. It's also the perfect place to enjoy the holidays. Here, you get all the holiday cheer you can handle, plus 60 miles of beaches and endless fun. Sometimes you need a holiday from the standard holiday celebration. Maybe you want to escape the cold, or maybe you want to start a new tradition. There are theme shows all over the Grand Strand at storied venues like the Carolina Opry and the Alabama Theater. Winter Wonderland at the beach features massive light displays and a brand new family fun zone. Holiday cheer is everywhere you look, like at Brook Green's Gardens Night of 1,000 Candles, where more than 2,500 candles and twinkling lights take over the Grand Botanical Gardens. There aren't many places where you can celebrate the holidays or ring in the new year with an ocean view. This time of year is great for horseback riding along the shoreline, fishing from chartered boats or in the intracoastal waterways, and golfing at any of the 80-plus award-winning courses. Take a break from the average holiday season at The Beach. Plan your getaway to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at visitmyrtlebeach.com.
Come to Etsy for thoughtful holiday gifts for all the people in your life. From friends to family, roommates to coworkers, you can find something special for everyone on your list. On Etsy, Etsy has a wide range of extraordinary gifts, so you're sure to find the perfect presents. Shop Etsy for fashion, decor, personalized gifts, and so much more. Discover presents that are both meaningful and for all budgets. When you shop on Etsy, you're shopping directly from makers, so every purchase supports a small business. New to Etsy? Use code MERRY10, that's MERRY 10 at checkout for 10% off your first purchase. That's code MERRY10. Maximum value of $50. Offer ends December 31st, 2022. See terms at etsy.com/terms. For gifts of all kinds, Etsy has it. Shop Etsy.com.
All right. It's time for our question, which is being read, as always, by the wonderful Shasha Leonard.
Dear Mom and Dad, how does one manage the transition from toddler to preschooler in terms of household responsibilities? Introducing chores, recalibrating behavior expectations, etc. We have 2 kids, aged 2.5 and almost 4. We try to take an authoritative, respectful approach to parenting, and it was easy when they were both toddlers. or as easy as 2 toddlers can be. But now that we're approaching preschool age, we feel like we need to introduce more structure and set expectations. For example, our strategy for hitting was to intervene and stop the behavior and redirect to something else. But now the hitting is motivated, i.e., brother took my toy, or I want your attention, so I'm going to hit. This transition has made us unsure what to do. When do you introduce consequences? What is appropriate? What about introducing expectations like, you will use a fork at dinner and not make a mess, or you will put your laundry in the hamper? Right now, it just feels a bit like we are parenting 2 tornadoes, and I would really like to get some semblance of order back. Any ideas? If it matters, they are both extroverted, high-energy boys, which may be part of why it's challenging right now. Thanks. Overwhelmed.
This is a great question. I'm in a similar area right now. Our kids are 5 and 2. And so there's a couple parts to this question. There's the first part, how can we introduce chores? And then how do we introduce consequences? So your older one especially is totally ready for some really simple chores. But I thought of that Marge Piercy poem to be of use, like the last 2 lines of that poem. The pitcher cries for water to carry and a person for work that is real. Like, I think that our kids can get in tune with some basic responsibilities and chores and it not feel like a burden to them, but that they are actually like contributing to the household. I think it empowers them. And, we totally struggle with this. It's not like Noah, my oldest, is folding her laundry and taking out the trash yet. However, she's 5. She does help with dinner a lot. And she's starting to help her brother in ways that are so sweet. But like he won't clean up if we ask him to clean up. But if she leads, if she starts to clean up, he will in turn follow. And, just we were doing it with the Magna-Tiles last night. Like, he'll knock them over and not really give a shit. But, like, once we deputize her to be, the leader in cleaning up, he'll see, oh, this person who I think is the coolest person in the world, she's cleaning up, I can follow. And half the time he will. I find another really great chore to introduce. And again, I'm not sure if chore is the right word, but
responsibility, maybe?
Yeah, responsibility is having Noah help me prepare dinner, because it's fun and it's like so elemental to helping a house run, and she enjoys doing it. She's really into baking shows, as I've mentioned in the past. So she's interested in cooking. She's interested in the kitchen, in chopping, in mixing, etc. So maybe easing into it with something that they might really enjoy. And in our case, that's cooking. Your oldest might be interested in something else that might be helpful to you. Like, I mean, I used to, like, a big push broom is so fun. Like the big, that you can go into the garage and just like sweep up a bunch of dirt, something that like you can't mess up particularly bad. But there are, I think, a handful of things that you can do to show them, oh, this actually isn't that bad. This is kind of fun. And then once they're done, once they see, whoa, look what I just did. I just picked up all my dirty clothes and put them in the hamper. Like, that's not that huge of an ask. Start with that kind of easy on ramp, and you kind of see them changing before your very eyes.
I think both of your little ones are old enough for some consequences, regarding their behavior. If you throw your cupcake on the floor, you will not get another one. Mm-hmm. If you hit, you won't be able to play the game we were playing. And you explain them, in the moment as it happens, because you threw your crayons all over the table. We're not going to be able to color a picture right now. We have to put them away instead. And if you want to be able to do an activity, you have to treat the things that we're doing the activity with nicely. They're old enough for timeout. Let's take a little break. I think you need a moment. And for stern words, like, we don't do this. We don't hit. I'm disappointed that you would hit your brother. I wish you chosen different words. Yeah, they're old enough for that. I mean, you can introduce expectations like you will use a fork at dinner and not make a mess. But at 2 and 4.5, or 2.5 and 4, they're going to make a mess and they're not going to remember to use a fork for every bite, So a lot of what you're doing at this point is going to be repetition. You're going to repeat yourself over and over and over again, and you've got to get used to that.
Jamilah gives some great examples because they are all logical connection consequences. With kids this age, like taking away something in the future or not having dessert, not something like that is really hard for them to understand how their action led to that. So Jamilah's example of like, you threw the cupcake, you don't get any more cupcakes, like is such a good logical, like you can't handle this. So now we're just done with this. And I'm sorry. And I know that makes you feel sad and angry, but that is how it is. We can try again tomorrow, right? Setting up those really logical consequences. I think once you have the rules and the consequences, you should think about what are the big ticket items and what are kind of like nice to have. So in what you've written for me, like the big ticket item here is hitting when we're frustrated or when we're not getting our way. The nice to have is like using the fork. So for me, nice to haves are really good for rewards. Like, hey, we're going to do the sticker chart. And every time I see you using the fork at a meal, you get a sticker on that meal, right? Now, then you can go to, okay, you've used it at however many meals and you get some kind of little prize or family activity, whatever you want that to be. Now you need to use it for to get the sticker for the whole meal. Like, I don't see you using your fingers at all. Like, that is easy kill for the fork thing, right? For the hitting, when kids hit, especially at this age, it is because they are overwhelmed and they do not know what else to do. And so I think you are going to have to continue to step in and narrate some of that for them. Like adults don't even do this all well, right? So to expect your kid to just turn an age and all of a sudden know what to do is, I think, an unreasonable expectation for them. So saying things like, I know that you feel angry that your brother took this, or I know that you feel angry about that. We can't hit, but we can. And then what is the behavior that you wanted, right? Did you want them to use their words? Like, think about when you are in their frustrated place, what they're actually going to do. Because just saying, we just don't hit. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I feel the kid feels angry and they need something to do with that. And you need to tell them what that desired outcome is. Otherwise, they just don't know.
Lately, we've been saying we don't hit people. If you have some aggression, like you can hit your pillow. Just so curbing it a little bit, that has helped, I think.
And then bring them the pillow and let them hit it.
Yeah.
You hit it too. The other thing that kind of stood out to me is you talk about how they're very high energy. And so I would just check in and make sure that their sensory needs are getting met. And for this, you should just go Google heavy work or sensory diet and just make sure that is being filled, because kids have a really hard time. I would say everybody. Most adults just find other ways to regulate themselves. When their sensory needs are not met, and especially if you have very energetic kids, they tend to need a lot of this heavy work. And so I try to start, if we're going to sit down and play a board game, or the two of them are going to play together, and this is typically a time or an activity, start it with a heavy work activity. Have one of them push them in the laundry basket, have somebody do bear crawls. We have a little jar that has all these little exercises in it. And sometimes as our quote unquote consequence, we'll pull things from this jar to be like, everyone needs to bear walk. Everyone needs to, because sometimes I assess the situation and say, well, what went wrong here is that we're so hyped up that there was no way we could handle this with a good, right? And then when we're calm, we can say, hey, I think we had a lot of problem playing this board game because everybody wanted to move their body. Mm-hmm. And so when you need to move your body, it's okay to ask for that. And these are ways that we could do it.
That's great.
Well, we hope you keep in touch. We'd love to know how everything goes. And if any of this advice helped, or if it made it worse, let us know. Everyone else, if you have advice to offer, you can send us a voicemail or email us at momanddad@slate.com. That's also, of course, where you can send any questions of your own. This episode of Mom and Dad Are Fighting is produced by Rosemary Belson and Kristie Taiwo-Makanjuola. For Jamilah Lemieux and Zach Rosen, I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. Thanks for listening.
This episode is brought to you by Best Buy. This year, let Best Buy be your holiday hype partner. Whether you're searching for exciting gifts, trying to snag the hottest holiday deals, or looking for ways to simplify the giving and receiving experience, Best Buy is here to help. Best Buy makes it easy to get your gifts how and when you need them with free next-day delivery on thousands of items, as well as same-day delivery and in-store pickup options. Make Best Buy your go-to gifting destination this holiday season for products that help you enjoy what really matters, like quality time with the family. We have been watching kids' movies together. Now both of my kids are old enough to sit through a whole movie, and we have a TV that sometimes works. So I think it actually might be time to invest in a proper TV so we can watch stuff together in bed, get real cozy before bedtime. It's been like so nice to sit with my family and appreciate culture with them. It's been so nice just to have the four of us together watching movies. It's like my favorite thing to do. No matter what your plans are this season, Best Buy is the perfect destination for all your holiday needs. Shop great deals on gifts now at Best Buy.